Call this meeting to order. Determine there is a quorum. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Flores, and myself. If y'all will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. If y'all don't mind, I'll do this one. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank y'all. We have no citizens' comments, and we're going to go to item 16 real quick. That way our purchasing department can go back to work. Item 16, discussion possible action accepting the state of Texas proclamation issued by Governor Abbott in the month of March as procurement month and to recognize our staff. Also, Melissa, you had prepared a proclamation that we can sign?
Yes.
If you don't mind, ma'am.
Okay. Whereas public procurement professionals play an integral part in the efficiency and effectiveness of government entities as stewards of taxpayers' money, these employees must ensure the best value for every taxpayer dollar, which contributes to the overall economic well-being of our community. And whereas public procurement professionals are dedicated to providing the best value for every dollar, allocating government resources judiciously, and acquiring necessary goods and services in a cost-effective manner. And whereas as public procurement professionals continue to expand their knowledge, skills, and abilities, they must also exercise sound judgment and uphold the highest ethical and professional standards. And whereas the month of March is recognized as Procurement Month, a time to acknowledge public procurement professionals for their commitment to excellence and efficiency in government purchasing. And whereas Val Verde County, Texas recognizes the importance of public procurement professionals and their commitment to excellence and efficiency in government purchasing. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Procurement Month in the county of Val Verde, Texas, and urge all citizens to join us in recognizing the important role of procurement professionals in our community. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Val Verde County, Texas to be affixed this 24th day of March 2025.
We have a motion to accept the proclamation. Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez. Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. I want to thank y'all. I mean, there's as a county judge, I deal with a couple of departments on a daily basis. Y'all are one of them. The amount of money that we've gone through in the last 6 years, we've borrowed over 26 million, probably. Went through $9.5 million of ARPA, and I shouldn't say went through. We reinvested it into our community, I guess would be the best way. Yeah. $9.5 million through ARPA. We've done Operation Lone Star, 2.9. I think the first one was almost 5 million. We're in the process of another 2.9, 2.8, 2.9 million through Operation Lone Star. We have Stone Garden, you name it. So those two funds, no matter what happens with them, they go through the purchasing department and through our auditor. So I want to thank y'all for everything y'all do for us. It's amazing. Every department has to go through both of y'all's departments, through purchasing and auditor. But thank y'all so much for the job that y'all do. Melissa, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I would like to also thank the court for y'all's support in the department and your trust in the processes. Since October of 2021, the department has received a new vehicle, a new warehouse, and 2 new positions. And all of these assets have allowed us to better serve the departments effectively and efficiently. And I would also like to thank my staff as well. I understand that it takes a team to accomplish the goals set forth by our office, and I would not be able to do any of it alone. Therefore, I would like to thank and acknowledge my staff, Karina, our assistant purchasing agent, Mariela, the fixed assets coordinator, Pete, our purchasing clerk 3, and Michael Andrade. He's our buyer.
Is he here?
Yes, he's right here.
The biggest one, and I can't see him.
Okay, nice.
All right. Well, again, thank
I'd
y'all
like to
so
thank them
much.
for their dedication and loyalty in their respective positions and for meeting the standards that I have set for the department. They have become proficient in their roles as procurement professionals diligently without hesitation.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Bring that little piece of paper and we'll take a picture with it, with them and y'all. If you don't mind, Carlos, would you mind taking the picture? You're the one that has, like 4 or 5 different phones. Why don't y'all come on up and we'll get a quick picture with the court. Huh? You don't like pictures? Too late. I'll get up front. What? No, up front. That way they're all in the front, we get behind them. That work?
No, you don't have to get in front. No. In front of him.
I told you, biggest boy in the group, and he was like, they're hiding.
Couple more.
4 more? I don't think. Thank y'all. Yeah, right, yeah. All right. Item 6, discussion possible action on letter of support for Ports of Plains fiscal year 2020, or 2026 requested by the chamber. I put this on the agenda, and that's mainly the main reason for calling this one and the Second International Bridge. Within the letter, did not like the part about a connector route, which that would be the bridge, especially since we were sending out letters of non-support. So if I need a little bit of guidance here, we can do a letter in support of the Ports of the Plains, which is the I-27. We've actually got I-27, the 377, and the 90 corridor. We could do a letter of support for those. I didn't feel real comfortable doing anything that would support a second bridge in the position that it is that the city's wanting to put it in. But not my decision.
Judge, so we can make that option of supporting the I-27 and not the bridge, is that?
That's the direction that I would like for this court to take, but before I jump off of that bridge, I don't mind jumping off of it by myself, but, I just don't feel real comfortable supporting a second bridge after we've sent this letter, and sending it to, Congressman Gonzalez and everybody else. If y'all would, I think the Ports of the Plains is a very important, corridor. The US 377 and I-37 is an important corridor. The 90 corridor, all 3 of those run through here. I think all 3 of them are very important to our future growth. I just don't want to sign a letter that as it refers to the Acuña del Rio 2 connector, which is the second bridge. So if y'all don't want that and you want that stricken, I'll type up a letter.
I will make a
With David's
motion,
help.
Judge, that we send a letter of support for the I-27 corridor minus the, Second International Bridge.
I'll second.
Motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Garcia. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all so much. Discussion possible action on raising limits of hotel fees for commissioners who plan to attend county days in Austin. I didn't know whether if what we'd already done before was enough, and I had like 3 or 4 answers. So,
Yeah, whatever came across.
the fees are more than what we'd set aside at the DoubleTree or wherever they're wanting to stay. It is legislative days, and evidently, people take.
What is the
some
amount,
days to-
Judge, on this, this trip?
1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1
I would like to set the limit at whatever is necessary in order to accomplish this.
I believe it was 380 is what was in the
Well, because
policy.
we have issues with other conferences, I mean, when it comes to that, as to motel allowance.
The problem is with the way I listed it on the agenda, it says for Austin days.
Okay.
So,
Let y'all handle that.
I will make a motion, Judge, that we, take care of these Austin days at the max limit of what, Mr. Matt, 380?
It was, yeah, it's 380. It's been set. in the policy.
300.
Elizabeth, what were the rates that you were getting?
It's under that. I believe one of the rates was like 271.
Okay, so the 380 limit would be fine.
That'd be my limit, Judge.
I'll second that.
A motion with the limit of 380 by Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. We good? Okay. Discussion possible action on CASA of Valverde County. I wanted to give y'all an update on this. The MOUs have been signed. They're done. I think we've already turned in a PO for the 20,000 that was set aside. There's no action required, but I wanted to give y'all an update on that. Thank you, John, for the work on trying to get the MOU done. But it has been done. Hopefully it'll be in bills to be paid when y'all approve on Wednesday. No action needed, but just. Item 9, discussion possible action to issue a proclamation declaring April 2nd, 2025 as World Autism Day. I'd like to make a motion for the declaration, of April 2nd, 2025 as World Autism Day.
Second.
I made the motion, Commissioner Flores gave the second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? And we'll have that for y'all. It's ready for y'all to sign whenever y'all get a chance. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 10, discussion possible action on Second International Bridge. I was hoping that we would have a discussion, the two entities would have a discussion on the Second International Bridge and the position of that bridge. Y'all know, 2 years ago, I was the only one that voted to leave the bridge north. We took another vote, January, and myself and another commissioner voted to leave the bridge, north, and the rest of the court, both motions passed at both times, not to support a bridge north, but to support it if it was, south of the bridge that we have now. We just could not come to an agreement or to a conversation as to where to build it. And then, I think it was January 28th, I received a letter on the position, or the circumstances, the position that the city was in, is where it came to water and infrastructure, or water and wastewater. And that they needed $48.5 million. And, we were instructed all along, the court instructed the county judge all along to send a letter to our federal partners and our state partners, which I had not done that because I was hoping we'd have a conversation. That did not happen. We were, scheduled to go to Washington, and, that meeting was canceled. Another entity did go. And, I just felt it necessary, even because I was instructed by the court to do it, to get it done, to send a letter. Letter's been sent out. I do believe, in my opinion, that the bridge at some point, and it might be now, is necessary. Where to build it, it would be another conversation, but because of the position that the city's in, according to their leadership today, I think the infrastructure, water and wastewater, should be more important. All right. I'm not a big fan of, this is going to come out wrong no matter how I say it. We're elected officials. We should be able to put on our big boy pants and get shit done, with the other entities. We should be able to have the conversations. We should be able to come to the table, whether it includes screaming or whatever, but at the end of it, you still come up with a decision. You should still be able to move forward. One of the things that was posed to me, this weekend was, how about an election? And I told them that was something that was brought to this court before. I'm not a big fan of that. Okay, because when you have two entities or any other entity that you have elected officials, their job is to be able to come together and make things work. Okay, it didn't. All right. So we have an election in November, and I would ask the court to see if they're willing to do this. Again, I'm not a big fan of it, but when you have two entities that can't agree and you're fixing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money out of the same pocket in order to fight this, there has to be a better way. And we can't come up with a with a decision, which is really sad. And I'm not putting the blame on the city. It's both the county and the city. So I would ask that maybe we consider, David, if legally possible, and with the time restraints that we might have, for it to be brought back. What I would need now from the court is to make sure that we could look into it, to bring it back to the court, to see about putting something on the November election, to place something on the November election for the voters to decide.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
what's the obligation of the bridge being put in the place that the election decides to put it if the other entity is not willing to agree?
It would be foolish. For one, we'll have to figure out how to place it on there, because you can't have so many options that it gets frustrating for the voter to vote on it. I guess your first option would be bridge, no bridge type deal. And then we'll have to look into it, bring back to the court, whether it's going to be bridge, no bridge, and then maybe another option, north or south, where people have a right to vote, because those that believe that there needs to be a bridge, maybe another option. Maybe two items listed on there. In reality, I don't think it would be you could still run out and go try to fly a plane if you wanted to with no wings, but it just would not make sense to have something voted down by the citizens of Valverde County and the city of Del Rio and then still move forward with a project. That to me just would not, you're not doing what the citizens that have put you in office want.
Judge,
So,
So it'd be like three selections,
sir?
it'd be like three selections in one
Two
choice.
selections. Two selections. I think one would be bridge, no bridge. Another would be if you want the bridge, whether you'd want it north or south type deal. So the wording will have to be clear. But what I would need today from y'all is to see if this is something that the court would consider in order for us to begin to look at it and then have it brought back maybe in 2 meetings from now, and have that discussion then with the legal aspect and the timeline that we would need in order to get this done. I know, because right now I'm just springing it on both of y'all.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
I would support us going through that process. I think in all fairness to the constituents of the city of Del Rio and Valverde County, that would be the right way to solve this problem. I mean, if it is a problem, or let the people decide they want a second bridge or not. I think that's a great idea.
Anybody else have any other comments?
No, I'm all for it.
Okay. And again, it pains me to say this because we're elected officials. We should be able to come up with some, if we run out to the citizens every time that we end up hitting a wall and can't come up with a solution that works for the majority, I think we failed. I really do. And that's the way I feel right now. It's just difficult. And we sent this letter out on Friday, and we went to go eat at Patti's and then Applebee, whatever. And at Patti's, we had 5 different tables that got up. And none of the 5 tables support a bridge. None of the people there. And again, I do think that at some point, we're going to need it. Before I came in right now, there was a businessman in the office right now that he's looking at a spur, trying to put in a railroad spur, but also that would help the maquilas on the other side. But if if you want to put your comment in the form of a motion to go up for an election and have that information brought back to here for another vote, I would entertain that motion, sir.
I will make a motion, Judge, that we'll go out for election in November and let the people from constituents of Del Rio and Valverde County decide on a second bridge.
And we can bring that back.
Judge, so the motion really should be, I guess, ordering the clerk's office and the county attorney's office to research what it would take to legally bring a proposition or two propositions for the November election.
I will add that to the motion.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Wardlaw, do you have something else?
You just want to make sure it's binding.
It's not.
It can't be binding. It would only make sense that if
And we'll research that issue, Commissioner.
Okay.
To see what.
I mean, we're
It's
gonna
just
spend,
preliminary. No, but we can't bind the city.
but we're gonna spend money with you all doing your work, and then the city still goes against it and dig their heels in, and we're still in the same spot we're at right now.
Well, and the thing behind that.
There's a message sent. that-
Yes. And
Yes, that's true.
this thing here goes in November, and then there's 3 members of this court in March that'll run primary, and then members of city council that run in May of next year, and then, so I mean, there's a message to be sent. And the citizens again get to decide who gets to sit here and who gets to decide on council, right? I mean, it's pretty simple. If you don't like us here, then you get rid of us, and if you don't like people sitting in council, you get rid of them. You gotta come out and vote.
To comment on what Commissioner Wardlaw says, I don't think we can bind the city into anything. We can put this proposition on the November ballot, and it's not gonna cost that much more, because we're gonna have an election anyway on the constitutional amendments. So the cost differential isn't gonna be much. It's not gonna cost us a lot to get the will of the people. But here's the thing, if the city says we're gonna have an election and we're gonna make it binding and the people vote, then they're bound to that. But we're a different entity, we're having this election to get the will of the people, but we cannot bind the city into whatever the people decide. That is gonna be the mayor and the city council's decision. So this is gonna be a non-binding resolution on the consent of the people of Alberta County.
And it's gonna send a message to Austin and Washington DC as well.
And it's
Whatever the result is.
the people's right to make that decision at the end of the day. Not just a special group of people, but all the people in general that are constituents of Alberta County. Del
Counselor,
Rio.
is it better to have the 2 of us hold this election together? Is there a special election we can have? We'll hold the polls at city council, at city chambers. We can have the city and the county have an election together.
The cities is likely not, I mean, the city can certainly take this action as well with their city election, but if we can't agree to even sit down at the table, I doubt we're gonna agree on it.
And this again, this is going to be this will be a first step. I was hoping that it wouldn't come to this, for the simple reason that we're all elected officials and we should be able to come together and make a difference. Didn't happen. We have failed. Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores. I have a second, Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 11, discussion possible action to replace end-of-life Hubman door access control at the district courthouse. Software and workstation are both tagged as end-of-life. Jesus Christ, he writes a book. Estimated cost to replace with new Paxton system is $1,150.07 to be paid out of available appropriations. Before we get into this, we have a Broadway account and then we have equipment. Where do you want it from? Okay. Broadway.
Motion to approve and get the money from Broadway account.
Okay.
I'll second that, Judge.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 numbers. Item 12, discussion possible action to upgrade 55 accounts from our Microsoft O365G1 tier to G3 tier in order to meet the email encryption requirements for some of our users. Prorated amount through the end of September is estimated $4,290 to be paid out of available appropriations. You're already. What do you want it, Ron? You want it contingency?
Utilities, correct, man?
Utilities?
Or we take all-
Computer maintenance.
Utilities?
Computer maintenance, what you should do that.
Motion,
We have a computer maintenance account, but
Yeah,
there's,
but all those are done.
they're already
Matter of fact,
encumbered, that's
the
correct.
money that we sort of put in there a little bit more, we also spent it. Came to the court and used it, or not spent, reinvested back into the
Right.
community.
motion to approve again from utilities.
Okay,
From where, Commissioner?
utilities. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? In part of this, the next year when we go to prepare our fiscal year 25-26, we'll put this in, and there's gonna actually be more of a cost. RAM is also working, that because we're already paying for some of it, we'll get credit for that. So we'll come up with a total cost, with subtracting what we're already paying for compared to what we're going to.
Yes, sir, we're working on that project.
Thank you, Ram.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Item 13, discussion possible action to award a contract to DLP Construction Maintenance for RFP 2559 USDA 10 improvements as DLP has the highest scored proposal and authorize county judge.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 14, discuss and possible action to approve a purchase of playground equipment for an amount of.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 15, discussion possible to award a contract to Green Company to
Motion
upgrade.
to approve, Judge.
Commissioner Flores, second.
Second, Judge.
Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 17, discussion possible action approval to redact any personal information request on employee's personal file.
Yes. So what's currently happening when we get a Public Information Act request, there's certain personal identifiers that we can withhold so long as we have written request from the employee of the county prior to the request being made, stating that they would not like those to be disclosed.
That wouldn't fall under open records?
It technically falls under the Public Information Act, so it is presumed public unless you have something on file indicating ahead of time that you would not like it to be released. And Juanita has it on almost every employee. The thing that we're gonna run into is
Pretty much like when you go visit a doctor, right?
that would be under like HIPAA, so it's
Yeah.
a separate area of confidentiality. But under the Information Act, there's about 1 million different ways that things become confidential. It's just, this is one where, as long as you're an elected official, if you're not a former or retired law enforcement officer and not a current or former sitting judge, you need to have this thing on file ahead of time.
So what, in talking about this, I'd like to protect everybody that works for the county.
And Juanita does a great job about that.
Okay, and I know that. So is there any other steps that we need to take as a court other than what she's already doing?
In reality, right now, what I would like to do is simply like draft an email to circulate it among the elected officials and have them just confirm that they'd like to keep this information confidential. Because the issues we're running into is the way that we treat like a normal employee versus an elected official. And the normal employees come through HR, they fill out all the paperwork, and they do a form right then where they would say, I want to keep this information confidential, check, 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 check.
So again, what action do we need to take to make sure that everybody that works for the county, if any, that their social security, their home address, their telephone numbers, all that is redacted?
Right now, I think the action that you need to take is just to essentially direct us to make contact with the elected officials and make sure each elected official is aware that they need to have this thing on file.
Yeah, I think, Judge, the passage of this particular item is what the court can do.
Okay.
Motion approved, Judge.
So thank you. Yes, sir. I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Do we need closed session?
Maybe just real quick.
Okay.
Judge.
Item 18, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code. A, 551.071, parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege. B, 551.071, parentheses 1, parentheses A, contemplated litigation. C, 551.072, regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property and possible action, open session thereafter. D, 551.073 regarding the negotiated contract, lease, or value of real property, possible action, open session thereafter. E, 551.076 regarding security device security audits and/or security personnel. Y'all will give us the room. We're gonna go in executive session. Thank y'all so much. Okay, we're back in session. It is 9:58. No action was taken in executive session. I'm gonna go back real quick to item 10, discussion possible action on Second National Bridge. I was just informed by Ms. Chapoy that the deadline in order to place something,
A referendum?
referendum?
Yes.
Mhm. Would be August 18th. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we'll get it done before then. Item 19, commissioners' comments. None. Item 20.
Motion to adjourn.
I have none either. Before I get started, I have a motion to adjourn on item 21 by Commissioner Flores. Second.
Second.
Antes que comience, ¿verdad? I'm sorry. No, I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor, that's the fine. Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have